Hello, everybody. Happy
Ew,
Friday.
ew.
Hope you had a good week. Probably, I would say, better than mine, not being just sick as hell. But looking forward to a very entertaining weekend in sports. I mean, obviously, conference championship. I think my favorite is still, well, now if we're going to have super wild card weekend, I don't know, that might be my favorite. But
That changed the game.
probably divisional weekend is probably still my favorite week of NFL playoffs. But conference championship, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm a Raider fan. Most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm just going to hate everyone involved, but you know they're good. So you're going to see some good games. So you're going to have two good games on Sunday. And then we have, well, UFC came back last week, and then now Conor McGregor is coming back. So we have that. A lot of good stuff. FA Cup, which, my game of the week was already today, which I addressed in my sign. We'll get into that. But Tyler, how are you doing today, and what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Doing good, man. I got to say, I disagree with you on the playoffs. Pro Bowl week, best week, hands down, no question.
You bastard!
That's where it's at. And if you are betting on the Pro Bowl, call somebody. You really need help. But no, overall, doing good, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be a fun weekend. Like I was kind of worried about it. That we're not gonna have any NFL games on Saturday, but we got the FA Cup going on in the morning. Of course, we'll have the NBA and NHL going on all day, college basketball as well, and then big UFC pay-per-view at Saturday night. So it's it's going to be a fun sports weekend, I think. Unfortunately, we did have to kickstart the weekend by losing an absolute legend in Hank Aaron, but that man lived a great long life. So that's that there's something.
The last 10 months has just been weirdly, insanely tough on some Hall of Fame baseball players.
We had Don Sutton earlier this week, Tommy
a couple weeks ago, left and right.
Yeah. But obviously thoughts go out to his friends and family. But man, that dude absolutely lived a good life and good full life. Absolutely will be remembered forever. So Ronnie, how you do today? I hope you're feeling better.
Feeling a little bit better. I'm still waiting for my freaking COVID test result to come back. So I can go back to work, maybe tomorrow or Monday, whatever. But just kind of hanging out on the line, waiting for that to come back. I took it as soon as I went to the doctor on Tuesday because they tested me for strep throat. They're like, "All right, you're good on that, but just probably get a COVID test, a new one, now that you have some kind of symptoms before going back to work." And actually, as far I've only taken 2 through the county, and this one was like a breeze to go through. It was like 20 minutes, in and out. The first one was like an hour and 45 minutes just waiting in line, walking. Everyone's spaced out, but you're just kind of like, okay, move forward. And then they send you the results back. They email you or text you, whatever. But this one I thought was like, all right, cool. I'll probably get this tomorrow maybe. And still waiting. So we'll see what happens. If I get it maybe tonight, maybe I'll be back at work tomorrow. But definitely feeling better. Still, not tip-top shape, but a lot better than I have been all week. So grateful for that. And like I said, hopefully you guys are all just had a good and safe week here. But we have a lot of good sports to get into. I don't want to start, super negative, but as Tyler mentioned, I don't even really consider it as a negative. Yes, the passing, but the guy's an all-time legend. So like Tyler pointed out, this guy didn't get cheated at life. Just one of the all-time gentlemen to ever play the game. I've never really heard anything bad about Hank Aaron, and especially in the face of everyone hates Barry Bonds. So there's also that part. Say what you want about his Hall of Fame credentials, whatever, for Barry Bonds' sake, but never really heard anything negative about Hank Aaron. He was just always kind of regarded as one of the great gentlemen of the game. So it does suck. Just like baseball, like I said, it's just taken a lot of Hall of Famers this year. But it's like I said, I wouldn't even say it's bittersweet. Obviously, it is sad, and all thoughts and prayers go out to his family. But just one of the all-time like baseball guys. I mean, this guy is sort of just there's no blemish on his name or career record at all.
Yeah, it's like of course, just been reading a lot of stuff and listening to the radio or watching TV. People talking about it today. Like, obviously, yeah, the numbers are there. 755 home runs, career 305 average, over 3,700 hits. Like, if you took away all his home runs, he'd still have over 3,000 hits. Like, just insane numbers. But
Yeah.
then you read the story about like he at the time at the end of the 73 season was just short of the all-time home run record. He was getting death threats because how's a black guy going to take away Babe Ruth's record? And so he was kind of worried, like, am I even going to have a 1974 season? And then you think about that, and it's like he never reacted to it, which is amazing. Like, you wouldn't blame a guy for like going off, like, I'm getting all these death threats, and he's just like, he kept to himself, kept moving forward, breaks the record, gets a standing ovation in Atlanta in the 70s, which that's, say what you want to say about that, how crazy that is. But absolute gentleman, amazing baseball player. Like I said, people, he's gone, but he will absolutely never be forgotten.
And I mean, it's kind of a rare thing. I mean, there's always, even like legendary athletes, the stats they put up, whatever, like you'll still be like, well, one time I had a bad run-in with this guy, or it just rubbed me the wrong way, or like reporters don't like. Never heard anything about that about Hank Aaron. So, just all respect to him. One of the all-time greats to ever do it. So, it's a bummer, but I think actually Justin mentioned in the comments it's not really, like you're getting cheated on this deal. It was just a great life lived.
For sure.
And going back to those comments, before we move on here to air my grievances against Chorley FC. I mean, they're still my boys, but they did kind of rub me the wrong way today.
Did you dirty?
Yeah. Jaime checking in early, tailgate time. Thank you, Jaime.
Always appreciate it.
Also throwing in, just putting it out there. Villa over Newcastle. All right, I like it. Nick checking in. Sorry about the Dukies. Falling out of that top 25. You know what? They'll still be in the tournament, probably. But
Yeah,
I feel like you can take that one on the chin. I mean, they've been good forever. I mean, is it that disappointing to you? Justin, hashtag suck it if you don't think Rivers is Hall of Fame. I agree. And as I espoused on the last show, this guy spent years tormenting my team, and I still think he's definitely in Hall of Fame. There's Justin again. RP Hammer and Hank, of course. Here we go. All right, Nick. Duke, men's basketball not ranked, and the Knicks are a 500 team. 2020. It's the land of unlimited possibilities. I don't even know what to feel about that.
Yeah, well, not only is Duke not ranked, but I know Kentucky is terrible, and some other powerhouse that wasn't ranked. It's like the first time in like 60 years that three of these particular powerhouses haven't been in the top 25. It's a weird year, man.
And I mean, once you get to that, the way they're going to do the tournament all in one place, no fans in Indiana, who knows? I mean, it's already, you always hear like when they play, you go to like the Final Four, it's usually in a football stadium, and it's like, oh, it's weird shooting in there because it's just so much bigger. Mm-hmm. And now it's just no fans too. So I'm sure that's going to maybe give some of like the mid-major teams that get in there a chance. I mean, UCLA,
CSUB is going to make a run.
That close, but I see you guys cracking that top 25, maybe at the expense of Duke. I don't know. I don't care. Good job.
CSUB Roadrunners making a run, baby.
Yes, please believe that. But on to the other news that I alluded to with my sign. Let me just dig it back up here from the depths. So, Chorley FC, really the world's favorite team going into today, and hopefully, still after, ran up against Wolves, and honestly gave them a pretty damn good fight. I mean, this is a 6th division team, semi-pro. I know Tyler and I were texting during the game, and the Wolves, I mean, you could see the possession there. So they had the ball like the entire game, but they didn't really do anything with it. One shot on target. Not really. I mean, just content to kind of hold the ball, and then they got the goal, pretty early on, so even sat back a little bit more. But props to Chorley, man. They gave them all they could handle, and then I think with about, I want to say like 25 minutes left in the game, Wolves did the rare 3 subs at one time, and the commentator actually pointed out 51 million pounds coming on in substitutions for Wolves right now. So that's probably worth more than the stadium, the team, anything involved with Chorley FC, just those 3 guys. So that's what you're up against. I mean, their manager, which I did like seeing this after the game, just getting his kind of that moment in the sun. It sucks they lost, but still getting that BT Sport interview. He's actually an elementary school teacher, by the way.
There you go.
That's his full-time gig. But because, we saw with Marine FC, and then Chorley was like the lowest remaining team still in it. They've been doing this virtual ticket thing where it doesn't really get you. It's basically like a donation because they don't have fans, and they're already, even in a normal year, probably sort of like hand to mouth kind of financially. And this year, it's just really no way to make money. So capitalizing on this cup run, they were selling virtual tickets. I don't believe I saw the final count for how many they sold. I think last I saw it was like 7,000 or 8,000. But I bought one this morning, and you can't really see it here because the screenshot's too small. I was promised a PDF of a ticket that I could print out and I would show to you guys and flaunt to you. Never arrived. So sort it out, Chorley FC.
It's in the mail, fool. It's in the mail. It's on the way.
I mean, if you mail it, it probably will cost them more than it cost me to buy the ticket.
Way more, yeah.
10 pounds is like $13. So I just wanted to have that ticket just to, be have that little moment in time. But alas, all I have is this email. So make it right, Chorley FC. But in all honesty,
maybe they just felt bad about a former partial owner of a football club in England just throwing money.
Conflict of interest. That's true.
Yeah.
But honestly, like all joking aside, the effort out there was great. I think for a lot of these guys, the spotlight was not too big for them. I didn't really see anyone just like thinking they were just like over their head. In fact, I mean, the captain had a really good game. Just even, like I said, these guys are semi-pros, and they went toe-to-toe with Wolves, who, yes, they're not like the top of the Premier League, but just that gap in money is insane. So, like, we're talking about like a pickup squad playing against, a Premier League team, essentially. And I thought it was an entertaining game. I'm very happy for the team and the city there. It seems like probably one of the most notable things they have going on there in the town. Tyler pointed out to me, he's like, I don't really think of the Wolves Stadium as that big, but when you look at this one, it looks huge. Like, yeah, it looks like it's in a park.
Yeah, like I know when we were talking about Marine, when they played a few weeks ago, like we mentioned how like their stadium, barely has any seating, and then they're playing Tottenham, who plays in an 80,000 seat stadium. So like obviously that gap in stadium size was huge, but like the Molineux, I think sits like 32,000 maybe. And they like I never considered it as a big stadium, but yeah, just seeing them play in Chorley, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like there is a massive difference in the in the stadiums they play at there. And you got to feel for Chorley, because I did hear the announcer saying kind of towards the end of the match, like this could possibly be their last game of the season, because the National League North and South are both kind of like taking a pause because COVID's still not going away. So if that doesn't come back, like this was going to be it for them. Like the FA Cup was their last chance. So, I didn't get to watch the whole game like you did. I saw a good bit of the second half. Yeah, I mean, look, they never backed down. They were trying. They were giving it their all. Just obviously the talent level is pretty big, but there's nothing to hang their heads about losing 1-0 to a Premier League squad.
And honestly, I mean, I probably picked it up like 20 minutes into the first half, and Wolves was already kind of like laying back, like we got the goal. and Chorley was still, giving them problems. And when they came out for that second half and they were only down by 1 goal, the first 20 minutes of that second half, it was all Chorley. I mean, they had them on their, the back foot, I guess, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see, Wolves kind of like, all right, let's get some guys out there to like keep the ball, actually kind of turn this back in our favor. But they were game, man. I mean, all props to them. I just want my PDF ticket, please. That's all I want. Other than that, though, a great day out for the boys.
Hopefully you'll have that for us on Monday.
Well, who knows now? I mean, they're just like, oh, we're out, whatever. We're not going to email any of these people.
Well, now that just means they have time to email this stuff out.
Yeah, go back, make it right. I'm still going to be a fan of you guys. This is like a lot of the shine of the FA Cup used to be like, I feel like a lot bigger deal even when I first got into soccer. And that's only, in the last like 8 or 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now for the bigger teams, it's like, well, Arsenal, because they just got to get a trophy somewhere. But it's not as big of a deal. Like, you don't really see them just throwing out like a full strength team until the end, unless, props to Mourinho. The greatest honor we could do is to beat them. And honestly, that I agree with what he was saying. It's just he always has to say it in a crazy Jose Mourinho way.
Oh, yeah.
I think what he was trying to say is like, it would be disrespect to not put out a team of our good players.
Yeah.
But it was
if we send our U21s out there,
the only way we can respect them is to beat them.
Beat them with our number 1 squad.
Which I loved. But when you still have these teams that, just punch their way up from, even the 8th or 7th or 6th, in this case, division, and they're still playing against Premier League teams, this is like really the fun part of it. So just a good run for Chorley. I'm sad we're not going to get any more terrible Adele covers in the locker room. But also, Adele, show your face. Come on, show some love.
Well, we are still going to get some more FA Cup action this week, and unfortunately, like Ronnie said, that was the Chorley was the lowest remaining team in there. I think now everybody is pretty much in the top four divisions in the FA. But Saturday got a good matchup there with Southampton and Arsenal. Southampton, who early in the year was actually I think in the top 4 or top 5 of the Premier League for a while before they kind of hit a bit of a skid. And then Arsenal, who was the exact opposite, all the way down to, I think, 16th at one point in time. Now they're up to, I believe, 10th.
Trending opposite, both of those teams right now. But
yeah, that one, I think that one could be a good game. Of course, Ronnie and I are going to be definitely paying attention to the West Ham Doncaster Rovers match.
Doncaster Rovers.
I got to say, I kind of texted Ronnie this earlier this week. In years past, West Ham has been bad, so I've always felt like, just go for it in the cup, like put everything into it. This year, West Ham's actually looking pretty good, competing well, doing good in the Premier League. So now I'm like, you know what? Go ahead and rest your starters this weekend. Declan Rice never gets games off. Give him the day off. Give Sushek the day off. Give Antonio the day off. Like, I wouldn't mind it. And if West Ham loses, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, have him make the bench, obviously, like, if you need him. Like, we saw Wolves. Sure. I mean, they had the lead, but it was kind of like, oh, crap, we better actually, like, put some guys out there.
Yeah.
So if you're in a situation like that, have them, on deck. But for the most part, I would say the same. Just hopefully you don't have to play them. It's Doncaster, but who knows? I mean, it's West Ham.
But it's West Ham in a tournament. Yep.
Yeah. But a couple good games there. And you still see, I mean, a couple like League 2, League 1 teams getting in here playing Premier League teams. I think the big one on Sunday, too, is Liverpool and Man United, which we were talking to a friend of the program we'll hear from a little bit later, No ID Justin. It is actually a draw, just a random draw. So when you get to this point, it's like, all right, you might be playing a team of guys that are longshoremen, or you might be playing Man United. Oh, that sucks. All right, Liverpool, Man United. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm sure the FA would have loved that to be the championship, and instead it's the round of 32, and you're getting that one. But hopefully that game is going to be a bit better than their game from that was just last week when they had the 0-0 draw in a pretty boring game, and it's really not looking good for Liverpool.
It's a revenge game
Liverpool,
for everyone.
Liverpool, I think against Crystal Palace in the middle of December, scored 7 goals in one game. Since then, they've scored 1 goal. They are just not putting anything together. And Man U, they stormed up to the top. It just happened. I mean, when you got Bruno Fernandes out there, he can make anything happen. But Man U definitely looking good. Liverpool, I mean, they're just looking to score. Like if Ronnie, you were texting me about it. God, was that yesterday or today? I don't even remember. But it's like they're just dying to get that 1 goal. Once they get that 1 goal, the whole line gets the confidence back. Yeah, everybody gets the confidence back. Everybody starts playing better. So, I mean, it's kind of a big deal for Liverpool this weekend, more so than Man U, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really realize how big of a deal that was until I played soccer. And, this is I'm already college years, but that drought thing where it's just nothing is going in is very real in soccer. Like if you don't see it go in, it plays tricks on you. You're just I may never score again. And then you see one just trickle in, get a lucky bounce, and then all of a sudden you score 5 goals. Right. So just to see it, and the way Liverpool plays, the dam is going to burst. Once they actually start rolling the goals in,
it'll flood. They're going to get crazy.
Back up to, what they do. And they're not going to change the way they play anyway, because that's how Klopp plays it. But the drought thing is very real in soccer. So the mental trick that plays on you, it's kind of I don't know, like a golfer or a field goal kicker. If you miss one, you're just I may never score again. You just fall apart. So definitely looking forward to that game. And I don't think it's going to be as boring because both teams need it. I mean, just because of how boring that last game was. So I would expect to see, a little bit more of a, at least a goal. How about that?
Well, they will have to because there are no draws in the FA Cup. Somebody
mark it down right now.
Yes.
And again, I mean, that's entertainment purposes only. I can't.
Of course. Please believe that.
I'm not going to, just put my name and risk my license on it.
Put your name on it.
Put your name on it. Just be a man or a woman. But we got a couple picks here from Jaime in the comments that I did want to hit. So he's got Southampton over Arsenal. Love it.
Ooh,
I don't know
how much I
believe it, but it's very possible.
A nice Che Adams goal would be nice, yeah.
Over Blackpool. Millwall, everyone's least favorite team.
Nope.
Just because they're generally scumbags over Bristol. Norwich over Barnsley, I like that. Norwich, great performance earlier this week. And yes, United, for how bad they looked at the beginning of the season, the talent has been there. It's just it seemed like a team of just a bunch of dudes doing whatever they wanted. And all of a sudden it's kind of clicking together. So we'll see what happens. And also maybe the kiss of death. West Ham is so winning that game, violently winning that game. Don't you ever say that, Jaime.
Hey,
how dare you?
You know what, though? The violently part might be right. Look, I sent you that clip of Antonio just bowling over defenders in the game this past week. So it violently could be the key.
And the Baron gives us one, too. I'd like to see Sheffield United make a deep run because they're definitely going down, yeah.
That's fair.
But
fair.
They just have – man, I every time I see them play, I'm there's no way they could score. They just have no idea, how there's no concept here of, how to even get a shot on goal sometimes. It's just and it's not even, superstar athlete. You have to have some kind of plan to get that team to perform. And there's no plan, and there's not really good players either. So good enough to be in the Premier League, but it's just sometimes I'm just dude, this is, I don't even know. They may never score again, watching them. So
yeah,
all power to them. Cup run is the way to go. And then this is a good segue. So thank you, Justin. Violently.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Dan Campbell intro presser. So on that note, let's swerve over to the NFL. And before we get into, again, one of the ultimate weekends as far as just good games, you're only going to have 2, but they're going to be good, in the NFL calendar. We're still dealing with, the coaching carousel spots being filled out. And the Lions did
They
hire
found
Cam.
our man. They found him.
They got their man. They got their man. And I don't know how I feel about this. It just seems like a very Lions move. But you know what? Prove me wrong, Dan. Prove me wrong. He had a very interesting press conference yesterday. Way more memorable quotes than this one. But this was probably the highlight. So I just want to play it for you guys. You could see what they're dealing with. And I don't know, decide for yourself.
Well, this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right. And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing. All right. That's going to be the mentality.
We're going to go to Iowa. We're going to go to Washington. We're going to go to California.
So there you have it. Noted football man, Dan Campbell. Like, obviously, just putting it out there. Maybe not the guy that really fits into the modern NFL, but all power to him. Bite those kneecaps. Just, hey, go for it, man.
Yeah, there's there's like a level of eccentricity that you can you see a coach like a very eccentric coach, and there's like certain things to say. You're like, okay, yeah, I can get behind that. He kind of went over the line of ooh, this is our leader. This is our guy. All right.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Lions have really been bad for a long time. I don't have any ill will towards the Lions. I just root for them to have some kind of success. It doesn't seem like maybe the way to break out of the Lions mold, shall we say? But prove me wrong. Who knows?
It's weird thinking like an NFL head coach would say something that I would hear a guy say for his upcoming match against Bruiser Brody in the 80s.
Yes, exactly.
I would expect a pro wrestler to say that, not a head coach.
Hey, come on, Lions. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, Dan. But just an awkward start. But, it's just the early stages, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But let's get on to the games that are being played. So let's dive right into it. I got the odds here. Also, I want to bring in on the Celebrity Hotline our Lions insider, by the way, and NFC East insider, No ID Justin, who is brought to you tonight by the Tito Auto Body and Used Tires Celebrity Hotline. Tito Auto Body and Used Tires, 2334 University Avenue, Tito Auto Body, where you do not pick up your car until you pay for it. That is the Tito's guarantee. We bring in Justin to the program. How are we doing this evening? Justin, are you there?
Justin, are you muted? You might be muted.
Can you hear me?
There we go. There it is.
Justin, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so apologies. First off, when you introduce me after the Lions Insider, you're also going to have to preference suffering Dallas Cowboys fan, just so people are aware where my allegiances truly lie.
We see the beanie and we know about the Cowboys, so I would assume that you are suffering.
Yeah, I happen to have just ties to the Lions for some reason. I don't know, man. I'm the guy to go to.
Look, you told us about the coaching hire several days ago. You are the Lions insider. You told us about this several days ago.
I did.
You didn't choose this life. The life chose you.
It's true.
I mean, that's on you.
It's true.
But we are in debt to your service as Lions insider on the program.
Yes, we are.
Let's go through these games right here. So I think this one, it just looks like it's all shaping up for Green Bay. I know only -3.5, but the weather is going to suck. I mean, Tampa Bay has looked better and better, not to the extent of like a Bills or even kind of like the Ravens were coming on. They're just looked like they were kind of putting it together as with all the talent they had. Brady really hasn't had to do a lot. I know you still got two really good running backs there, especially Fournette, who really hasn't had to do anything this year. So he looks very fresh. But it's going to be a tough putt for the Bucs in this one, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. They have looked good. You know, we were texting, you know, during the game last week. Ronald Jones is running hard. He looks really good. You know, Fournette is always there for the short yardage situations, and it seems like he's really capable catching out of the backfield as well. Um, I've heard a lot of people saying, you know, like Tom Brady's played a ton of cold games. You know, Tom Brady, I get all that. I'm 100% in agreement. Guess what? The other 10 guys that he's lining up with, other than Gronk, those guys don't have a lot of experience in the cold weather games. So,
That's it. Yep.
you know, this is going to be a really, really, thanks, Jaime. Appreciate that. This is going to be a really tough game. It's going to be a really tough uphill battle for the Buccaneers offense. Now, that being said, their defense, especially their front seven, has looked really good as of late. So, you know, there's always that potential that, hey, maybe they can get pressure on, you know, maybe they can get pressure on Rodgers. But I just think Rodgers is playing on a level right now that's just, what can you do? You know, like
I
him and
think he is
Devontae
on the
Adams.
warpath. Like it's Super Bowl or bust. Even just getting to that game, like he is going to do whatever it
100%,
takes.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, like you got to think their defense looked good last week. Of course, that was against a quarterback that can't throw the ball. But you got to
With a
remember,
broken hand.
just 2 weeks ago, Tampa's defense was getting lit up by Heineken. Like he was tearing them up. Like what
Hey, that's
is
my guy,
Roger?
dude.
What is
Don't
Roger?
slander his name.
Dude, all praise to him. But like, if he lit them up, what's Rogers gonna do? Like, I just, you know, Justin, you made the great point that I was going to say is, you know, yes, Brady's used to the cold weather, but the rest of this team, not really, man. They don't go north that often. They haven't been in the playoffs, so they don't play these cold weather games anyways. So it's gonna be a real thing out there. And yeah, I agree. I like Green Bay. I like them to cover. I like them to win.
And I think like probably one of the things that stood out the most to me last week was, yes, there's a lot of young guys in that Tampa secondary, but talent, you know, the talent is there, just like kind of unproven. And this is going to be like a whole different animal, though. Like dealing with Rodgers, dealing with that weather. I mean, like again, prove me wrong, but I really don't see it happening. Like I would be number one person to root against the Packers at all times. I hate the Bucs too, but as far as like a realistic outcome, I think the Packers got it, and I probably think they cover that 3.5.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all in agreement on that one for sure. We could all be wrong, you know, and if we are, you know, it's freaking Tom Brady, bro. It's the GOAT.
I've been wrong plenty of times. I'm not afraid to admit it.
First of all, entertainment purposes only, but yes,
Please believe that.
Tom Brady, old man Tom Brady. I think at this point, the best thing is just to not bet against him. Like all he does is like prove everyone wrong. He thrives on it. He loves it. He lives to spite me, everyone else, like that doesn't root for a team that he's on. It seems like he always just pulls it out of his butt somehow. So there is always that possibility. But
that old man is 14-3 in the postseason since he turned 37. Like that's ridiculous.
That is insane.
That's ridiculous.
That's nuts.
But let's get on to really the tasty game of the two, I think. The Bills, the upstart Bills, my team right now, anyway. Going into Kansas City, especially playing the Chiefs. And you see that, you know, last week it was 10. This week it opened at 2.5, and now it's down to 3. But still, I mean, a little bit more respect. And nobody knows, like, Tyler and I have been saying, there's no doubt Mahomes is going to get cleared to play in that game. So he is going to play. But we don't know what, you know, state he's going to be in. We might see some Chad Henne out there. Who knows? But just sort of walking down some of that, like, oh, the Chiefs are unstoppable prediction. I still think it's tough. I mean, the weather is still going to, well, you know, Buffalo plays in the cold too, but it gets damn cold there in Kansas City too at this time of year. So, and they got fans there. I mean, it's going to be tough for the Bills. I haven't really seen like, and you know, it could be growing pains because Allen was really just like balling out like big time the last like month and a half of the regular season. Playoffs, maybe not so much, but still looking, capable as far as like knowing what he's doing. But they're going to need some big performances here, especially him and Diggs. I mean, the running game situation is not great for them still, but they do have that defense. Come on, Bills. That's all I could say. I'm just rooting for the Bills.
Yeah, no, I did hear, later on today, and I think actually maybe mid to late afternoon, at least Patrick Mahomes, the reports were that he had cleared all protocols, so he was good to go.
Right.
I've also heard a lot of people though mentioning that maybe the toe is could be more of a problem than people are letting on. So we'll see how that develops. But yeah, I think you said Buffalo's your team. I think Buffalo is America's team right now.
At
I
this
think
point,
there's
yes.
everybody outside of Kansas City for the most part is, they're all about Buffalo. So, I'm a fan of the dirty white boy Cole Beasley. So, I think,
That underneath threat, always.
yeah. And from what I heard too, a lot of the money is coming in on Buffalo, which is surprising, but I think a lot of people were kind of waiting to see what was up with
Is it
Mahomes and this
though?
and that.
Because we
So,
already see
yeah.
how crazy these people are. I mean, I'm just going to run this back because I still have it queued up. What I see there is at least 5 people that would probably bet their mortgage payment on the Bills.
That was
Valid
footage
point.
of the Bills. That was
Valid
footage
point.
from the Bills practice today.
Yeah,
Exactly.
touche.
That was the walkthrough earlier
Yeah.
this morning.
I don't know though, man. I just think Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, they got like this it's buddy, like they're just best friends. I don't know, BFFs, dude. BFFs forever. Maybe they can ride that to an upset, but probably not. So, yeah, I guess I want Buffalo to win, but I'm taking Kansas City in that 3.
I'm taking Kansas City and the 3. I think this is Tyler and I were talking about it before we started the show. 7-9 against the spread, but that's probably because they always have a ridiculous spread. And it's just like it's the NFL. I mean, you're not always going to win by 15 points. And that kind of caught up to him. But now you see the -3. I like the over 54, but Tyler, I mean, just kind of give us where you're at on this game.
So I think, one thing that Buffalo is really going to need is big games from Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. Hopefully Moss isn't out there fumbling the ball like he's been wont to do this year. Hopefully they can get the run game going because, look, as great as Diggs is, and that him and Allen have that great connection, like, you're going to need more than that guy. You're going to need more than that connection to win this game. That said, give me Buffalo +3. I'm taking the underdog.
Yes. Yes.
I'm almost even tempted to go. I'm almost even tempted to say, give me Bills money line.
All right. First of all, entertainment purposes only.
Of course, please believe that. Please believe that.
I love where your head is at on this, Tyler. And
I think they're going to get it done.
All power to you.
I think they're going to get it done. Mahomes or not, I think Buffalo, this team that's just they haven't even looked great and they're still winning. Of course, you can say the same for the Chiefs too. Chiefs haven't looked that great and they're still winning. But I don't know, man. There's just something about this Buffalo team that is just it's fun. The defense is good. I think they're going to go out there. They're going to hit. They know Mahomes is hurt. Like
Jim Kelly.
The defense, honestly, at this point, the defense you have to say is pretty elite as far as like anyone in the league. And the Chiefs defense, they got some playmakers, but you could score on those guys. I mean,
Right.
The Raiders beat them, for crying out loud. Like, let's just be real. They took them to the wire a second time. Like
Derek Carr lit it up in the air.
They're not ungettable. Like, let's just say that. Like, I know who's on the Raiders, and they ain't that good. And they beat these fools and took them to the wire another time. So it is possible. And we don't know what kind of Mahomes we're going to see. But also on Nick's point, I fear for what Bills fans will do to themselves if they make it to the Super Bowl. Me too, but let's cross that bridge when we get there.
Allen has already said if they win the Super Bowl, he's going through multiple tables on fire. He is going up to that Mick Foley level of like, I'm just going to do some crazy shit with this table here.
There's only one way to know, and that's for them to get in the Super Bowl. So Bills, that's all we're asking. Just take down the Chiefs. And for me, at that point, the rest is a bonus. I'm not a Packer fan, definitely not a Bucks fan. But really, the only thing that would just cap this off, my team's been well out of it, just take the Chiefs out. And then from there, whoever wins, all right, fair play.
Let's not kid ourselves. You've got a little money on the line there with Arkansas Slim as well for the Bills to win. So
that is true. I'm still hoping to cash in on my 2750 there. And
Can we get that logo? Can we get that logo?
Oh yes, we do need the logo because I am contractually obligated to.
You need to know what you're up against if
That's right.
this doesn't go through.
That's right.
And I don't want this guy coming after me.
This dude is knocking on doors. If your bet
will not
loses.
mess around. Fortunately, I got this guy on my side.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm just hoping that it all works out for the best.
That's the Bills GM right there. That's
old. That's Bruce Smith.
That's right. Yeah, Smith.
Still one of the all-time greatest comments that's ever been put into this show.
Oh my God.
Solid Snake has hit hard times. Well, not if my Bills bet doesn't hit. He's going to cash in on me. And it's $5, yes, but like I said, he's serious. He will collect. So I don't want to mess around with that guy.
And I may or may not be employed by that gentleman.
My dude.
All right, before we wrap it up here, we got about 9 or 10 minutes left. I do want to get to the fights. UFC is back, as we talked about last weekend, and now Conor McGregor is back. So for better or worse, I mean, here he is. So it's definitely going to sell some fights, but we do need to get with the fight doctor and just run us through these fights this weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. The heavyweight champion of the world. It's time!
I love it. I love to see the Wu-Tang flag flowing in the background there, perfectly on time.
Beautiful.
But
Beautiful.
Here's the card we have coming up this weekend. Sorry if it's a little too small, but that's the main event there. Obviously, the marquee event is just basically Conor McGregor's presence back in the UFC. But Tyler, kind of just take us through this fight, Doctor.
So yeah, definitely the main event of the weekend. Going to be Dana White versus streamers. He's already called out. He had a press conference where he said we've already got one. They're going to have him. As soon as you press play, we're going to be on you. Apparently, he's had other press conferences where he said they have this guy's phones tapped. They're like listening. So apparently, there's some streamer out there that's going to get into some serious shit. But yeah, so Dana White versus streamers. Look out for that one. But the main event fight that we're going to have, of course, is the lightweight main event between the rematch between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. These two fought back in 2014. 2014. Conor won by a first-round TKO. This is back when they were both featherweights. Conor, of course, has gone on to some great things, win a lot of big fights. Poirier, since then, jumped up to lightweight, kind of became a different fighter. He's absolutely not the same fighter that we saw years ago. He'll be a lot more patient. I think that's a big thing. He's not going to let the nerves get to him. He'll be patient. I think he's going to try to let the rounds go, get later in the rounds, because in the past we've seen Conor's conditioning be an issue. Whether it is, he looked great today. I don't know if you guys saw the weights. He looked great. I don't know if conditioning is going to be an issue, but that's kind of the key to beat him is don't just fly in there, let him get those counter punches.
And it's been a long time off. I mean, let's just be honest. So, in that ring, it's a little different.
Yeah, Conor's last fight was early last year against Donald Cerrone. But both these guys, of course, have been choked up by Khabib in their fight before that. One thing I really like about Poirier is this dude is you're going to get a great fight out of him. You're going to get a great performance. I think in 6 out of his last 8 fights, he's gotten either fight of the night or performance of the night. So it's going to be fun. Again, I don't think he's going to rush it as much as he did the first fight because we all know Conor loves to do the counter strikes. He's great at it. Yeah. I think Poirier is going to be a lot more, take his time on this one. I'll be honest, I like Poirier in this one. I mean, maybe it's just because I've had issues with Conor over the years, but I really like Poirier in this one. I kind of like him for the upset.
And he's plus 250. I mean, that was as of, at the start of the show. I'm sure that is still going to move a little bit. But I do agree with Tyler. I think just sort of this weight suits him a little bit better. He's a little bit more seasoned for sure. Conor just wants to, really just take you out with the left hand and then just sort of, dance around and just, catch you with that left hand coming in. But I think Poirier will be a little bit more patient this time, not just, rush into things. But we'll see. I mean, Conor is Conor for a reason. I mean, part of that being he talks a great game, but he has shown at pretty much every turn, not all turns, but to be a great champion fighter. So we'll see what happens.
Justin, any thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. But to be honest, I agree with both of you. Like I mentioned, you guys, pre-show. I just think, as much as I love Conor, it's just the time off, and Dustin just is prime, dude, and ready. So I think similar stature wise, similar reach. And I agree with what Tyler mentioned. Dustin's not going to go in guns blazing. He knows that's exactly what Conor needs. So I think Dustin's going to try and slow pace it and draw it out. But there is that chance that Conor just lands one. So I still think in the end it's going to be Dustin. So.
And I did want to bring up Nick's comment real quick too, because for one, I think the implication for Conor is if he wins, Dana's going to do whatever he can to try to get him back in the ring with Khabib, obviously. But beyond that, I mean, honestly, a good showing for Poirier, and he loses. I still think that helps him, kind of. I mean, losing doesn't help you, but just a good showing. All right, we see the growth of this guy from the first time they fought. He's not going to be too hurt by that. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, if Conor wins, they're going to try to fast track him to go for belts again, but we'll see.
So what I really think is going to happen, I know Dana keeps saying, hey, Khabib's he's not fully retired. Dana keeps kind of trying. I think Dana's trying to talk himself into it. I'm pretty sure Khabib's retired. Why they haven't just decided to make another belt, I don't know. Honestly, I think what's going to happen is eventually Dana will finally relent, and the winner of this fight will take on the winner of the co-main event of this, which is excuse me, sorry, which is Dan Hooker taking on Michael Chandler. Dan Hooker, decent fighter. I think his last fight was actually against Dustin Poirier. They lost in a great fight of the night event. And then Michael Chandler, he's a guy that he's been in Bellator for 10 years. He's kind of been one of those what if guys. What if he ever left and went to the UFC? Chandler is a 3-time Bellator heavyweight champ. Pretty good wrestler, decent stand-up, which Hooker is going to want to stand and bang. My heart would go for Dan Hooker in this one because he's so entertaining, but I think Chandler is going to be smart. He'll try and take down the guy from New Zealand who's, just not as seasoned with the wrestling because wrestling's not a huge thing in New Zealand. I think Chandler could kind of turn it into a boring fight. I want Hooker to win. Obviously, he's got the knockout power, but I think Chandler probably takes him down, dry humps his way to a decision victory, setting up the eventual Conor McGregor Michael Chandler match for the for the vacant lightweight title.
And at least he's going to be there. So after their fight's over, if Conor wins, I'm sure he's going to get on the microphone and immediately call that full out.
Oh, he'll call out Khabib probably.
Yeah, probably. Or an entire division, or who knows. Mayweather again. Who knows with this guy?
What if he calls out Jake Paul?
God.
Please, God, no.
And that's one of the biggest things with Conor is and I found it really funny in one of the press conferences earlier this week. He was saying, they need to take the title from Khabib. He's holding up the division. Conor held up 2 weight classes just 3 years ago.
Right.
He held up the featherweight and the lightweight. So hearing him say that is just for real, dude, you're really going to make that call. And that's the thing with Conor is you don't know what he's going to do. Like you said, he might go out and box Jake Paul because he'll make, whatever, $100 million off of it. But that's been one of the things that's frustrated me most about Conor. Is like I don't know what he wants to do. Either do UFC or don't. You know what I mean? Like if you want to do other stuff, great. If you want to do UFC, stop holding up these mega fights. Stop holding up these divisions, man. Just commit to it.
I think the thing with him though, he knows like how sellable he is. So even if he just like doesn't fight in UFC for like a year after this, he knows they're just going to take him back and like, oh, pay-per-view's on, like Conor's back, like he can walk right back into it. So that's where you really don't know like what he's going to do. Like it's kind of all the power to him at this point, as far as like normally what you would see like boxers independent of a like governing body like UFC, but he kind of has that outside power of just like, I'm not going to say he's bigger than the sport, but to them, he kind of is. He sort of has that sway where he can just sort of like keep them like at his mercy, sort of like, maybe I just don't want to do it for a while.
Nick, I honestly wouldn't even mind if he did that. I genuinely wouldn't mind if he went to the WWE. I'd be okay with that.
And it's possible. Anything is possible with this guy.
That's right. But all in all, I mean, those are like those are the two headline fights. Up and down, it's not a bad card. Obviously, they're really selling it on McGregor, as you do with any card. But I think we could have some, pretty fun, surprising fights. And again, the big matchup will be Dana versus the streamers. We'll see. I kind of like the streamers by first round TKO in that one.
Yeah, I think the streamers are going to take that one. But
the internet is undefeated, brother.
Maybe Dana's like minus 500. I might take some action on that. Just to see what he does, pull something out, like just totally like comes up with something that just like explodes your computer. If you are streaming the fight, who knows? I mean, he's capable. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a good weekend of sports. I can only, just speaking for myself, I'm just glad I'm feeling a little bit better. Still not 100%, but I'm glad you guys tuned in with your comments and calls. Thank you, Justin, as well, of course. Conference championship weekend. Conor McGregor's back. Hate him or love him, like it's always going to be like a fight night when he's involved. So a lot to look forward to this weekend. Charlie, I still want my ticket. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, again, going to be a fun weekend. Nick Nick just beat me to it as well. I was going to say an early happy birthday to producer T.
Producer Tanaya.
But looking forward to a good weekend. Justin, thank you so much for jumping on. Always a pleasure with you on here. Thank you guys so much for all the questions and comments. We'll be here on Monday. Hopefully have a good weekend of sports. But you guys know the drill. Keep the fire.
Keep the fire.